This is Jenny Bell from Clarington, Ohio, and I'm listening to Barbecue Central.
Start the game! Let's go!
We'll do it live. Okay. Well, do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and... Oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
And direct from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio. Wow, oh my goodness. We are in the midst.
Get that freak stuff out of here.
My left ear is going out. The pad was on. Unbelievable way to start it out. But nevertheless, we have fully recovered and we're back at it. Welcome to the Barbecue Central Show. This is the show that talks about all things important in the world of barbecue and grilling. We originate from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio, better known as the barbecue capital of the North Coast. And I am Greg Rempe, happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday. If you want to jump in and contribute, here's how you do that.
You can get in touch with the show by calling 216-220-0966. Email Greg at the BBQCentralShow.com. On the Twitter and Instagrams at BBQ Central Show.
Anything else you want to find out about the show can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening in case you didn't get the newsletter coming up in about 12 minutes from now. It's the second Tuesday of the new month and the new quarter of 2019. That means we're going to be revisited by the creator of the most heavily trafficked barbecue and grilling website currently existing on the internet today, no matter where you are on this green earth of ours. Meathead from AmazingRibs.com will be joining me. We are going to get a full recap and in-depth look, a nonpartisan view and take of the National Barbecue and Grilling Association's I Am Barbecue 2019. He missed it last year in 2018. In fact, I might say I went in lieu of him, or at least he sponsored me down there by paying my hotel room, which I certainly appreciate. And in return, I mentioned him through the live broadcast through those 3 days and 3 hours each day, live shows that we did, which, by the way, nobody else did down there. And I wore his Pitmaster Club and logo T-shirts, so it was a little give and take there. This year in 2019, in Kansas City, one of the barbecue meccas that we so fervently want to visit if we've never been there, he did show up, did attend the event, so we'll be able to get the full breakdown from Meathead as he currently sees the state of NBBQA, what the event is like, if that is something that he sees a growth potential in, if it is as big as it's going to get, and it was as big as it was last year, it's not going to get any bigger next year in 2020. This is as good as it's ever going to get for NBBQA, or does he see a growth factor? Does he see a way in which this particular event or this particular organization can push forward and grow in a certain way into the future, remain relevant, but become perhaps more appealing to a wider base instead of folks that are just in the industry? And certainly there are a number of in-industry type events, depending on what industry you might work in. Automobiles, trucks for me specifically. I mean, the list goes on and on. There's conventions all over the country, not just once a year like an NBBQA's, depending on what kind of business you're in. So we'll talk to Meathead first hour. Second hour, we'll be talking with a guy by the name of Mark Hunsaker. Hunsaker? Mark is the creator of Hunsaker Cookers. This is a barrel or drum style cooker, upright, not horizontal. These are becoming more and more popular. You're familiar with some of the big name brands out there. First and foremost, to my mind, Pit Barrel Cooker. Then you probably have a Gateway drum smoker. And I don't know if there's any other drum style smokers. Maybe a Big Papa Smokers fully assembled drum kit, of course. Or if you have a drum, Big Papa's also sells their drum accessory kit. So if you have the drum, they have all the other things that will make that drum a nice cooker. So, of those three, Pit Barrel, Gateway, Big Papa's, nothing else really coming to mind from a drum style of cooker. Hunsaker looking to get into that niche as well. So we'll talk to Mark about his particular cooker, why he's bringing it to market, what sets it apart from what's existing out there, all the stuff you've come to know and love here on these kind of interviews. And then 35 past the second hour, I have an open segment. So if you are looking to get off this evening, you might want to save it for about an hour and 20 minutes from now. You can call in 216-220-0966. I will pick up, and then we will just have at it. I got a bunch of stuff that I want to talk on as well in case you don't call. So I will not rely on any of you to call in like I normally don't. But if you decide to call in and help the show out, I'm more than happy to at least answer the phone. Now, I will caution you, much like I hang up on on a punk last week, if you're going to lob a phone call into the show, don't listen to the show at the same time. Very important. There is a delay between when I am saying things and when you are hearing things. Sometimes up to a minute or two. And if you are running the show in the background and you're also talking to me on the phone, at some point you're going to get caught up in what I've affectionately referred to as the echo monster, where all of a sudden you start listening to the computer behind you instead of what's really happening on the phone or on the Skype connection. And if you pay more attention to the phone than you pay attention to what's happening live, you start to re-answer or you stop talking. It becomes very confusing for you. I know exactly what's happening. That's why I call it the echo monster. And now you're caught up in it. And then I hang up on you and I play the buzzer sound effect. And then it will rag on you for 30 or 40 seconds. Then I'll broaden the stroke out and admonish everybody for not being able to call in properly. Don't be that man or woman. Turn everything off, then or mute everything. Then give me the phone call. Then we'll chop it up. Then you can go back to listening to the show after I dump you off the line. Very easy to do. 216-220-0966. All right, once again, we're a matter of 5 days out for the Barbecue Hall of Fame nominations for 2019. Please, as you're listening here tonight, I don't want you to forget, do it right now. Head on over to the Barbecue Hall of Fame's website under the nomination category and nominate John Marcus. I want to see what the pull of the show is. I want to see if he makes that broad list of 9, potentially making that final cut of 3, putting him in to the Hall of Fame in 2019. I would really like you to try and do that at least. Again, Barbecue Hall of Fame website. I think it's bbqhalloffame.com or .org or something like that, or just Google it. And by the way, does anyone really know who is currently in the Barbecue Hall of Fame? I found it particularly interesting that when I was talking with Malcolm Reed last week, and I asked him, if you could put somebody into the Barbecue Hall of Fame foregoing any nomination process whatsoever in 2019, who would you put in? The first thing that he said to me was that he had no idea who is currently in the Barbecue Hall of Fame. Nothing against Malcolm, but to the Hall of Fame, that kind of smacks of a problem. He asked if Mike Mills was currently in the Barbecue Hall of Fame. Mike Mills? He was like an original inductee into the crappy Hall of Fame that existed on the internet for years. Yes, he's in the Barbecue Hall of Fame. But the fact that Malcolm didn't know maybe anybody else, that's a little alarming if I'm the Barbecue Hall of Fame. Nobody seems to know. Might want to rectify that. Might want to think about rectifying it at least. Oh, by the way, because we are now in the beginnings of spring and everything barbecue and grilling related is going to be coming out, She mentioned it a week or two ago. It is out as of today. Talking about Jess Pryle's new rub. This is the hardcore carnivore, and it's called Michelada. Michelada. Let me give you a quick rundown. Inspired by Texas beer salt, this chili lime seasoning gives your meat a zesty kick. Magic on chicken. But the tangy, mild heat works well with pork, beef, pork and beef tool. Michelada will enhance your, coming in hot. And beef, tool michelada will enhance your food without overpowering it. It's a It's a chili lime seasoning. Again, available for sale, hardcorecarnivore.com. Michelada. That's a Lone Star beer, by the way. So, thanks to Jess Pryles for the sample there. And I will be putting that immediately on chicken wings probably this weekend and giving it a test out. All right, let me talk to you quickly about the new book that is out also, Grill Seeker. I told you, rubs are out, books are out. I've been talking to this one for almost 3 months now. But it is showing up in people's hands right this very day. If you pre-ordered Grill Seeker, basic training for everyday grilling, you're probably getting it from Amazon today, maybe tomorrow. A lot of people that I know were sending me pictures saying, hey, I got it today, I got it today. A lot of social media posting going on. So if you missed out on the pre-order, you can go buy in regular fashion right now. I suggest that you hit up my website, thebbqcentralshow.com. Click on the Grill Seeker logo. That will take you to the Amazon page where you can buy it. Now, if you don't know about Matt Eads, from the battlefields of Afghanistan, Iraq, Somalia, and Bosnia to a state-of-the-art outdoor kitchen, Matt Eads is looking to unite people through grilling. No matter our race, gender, sexual orientation, cultural upbringing, socioeconomic standing, or political affiliation, cooking over live fire brings people together. Undoubtedly. Differences get set aside. That's why you need to go buy that copy now. You don't have to pre-order anymore. It is straight up for sale. Grill Seeker Basic Training for Everyday Grilling. Don't forget, you can also join the hashtag United by Flame movement. You head on over to grillseeker.com. Right above his logo, it says United by Flame. Click on that. You can take a picture of yourself in front of your grill or in front of your barbecue pit or both, and then send that to Matt. He'll go ahead and put it up on that page, and now you're an official member of hashtag United by Flame. The memories and the camaraderie that grilling has created for Matt, dating back to his teen years throughout his time in the Marines, fuel the desire to spread his passion for outdoor cooking. And again, that is why he created the United by Flame movement. His website, grillseeker.com. Go to my website, thebbqcentralshow.com. Click on the Grill Seeker logo and order your book, Grill Seeker, Basic Training for Everyday Grilling, right now. Meathead coming up out of the break. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting live from the BBQ Central Show studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the BBQ Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. This portion of the show is being brought to you by Butcher Barbecue, makers of award-winning injections, marinades, rubs, seasonings, barbecue sauces, grilling oils. All the Butcher Barbecue products have been tested on the competition circuit as well as in backyards worldwide. Be the pitmaster of your neighborhood. Visit butcherbbq.com to stock up now. Always trust your butcher. As I had mentioned in the open, the second Tuesday of the month brings a visit from our regularly scheduled guest, the creator of the most heavily trafficked barbecue and grilling website on the face of the earth. It is, of course, a man by the name of Meathead. Meathead, how are you, pal?
Hello, Centralites. Hello, Greg. How's the rock star of barbecue
We
from the
are
Rock World City?
rocking and rolling. Although you would find it odd, Meathead, that this is the off year for the Rock Hall. So while the Hall of Fame is in Cleveland, the inductions actually are taking place in New York City.
Yeah, I heard something about that.
But it's been going on like that for years and years.
Yeah, that's kind of cheating, isn't it?
That's the weirdest. I mean, I get that New York is entertaining and it's a melting pot and everybody wants to probably be in New York City if you had the option between downtown Cleveland and downtown New York City. Certainly two different types of cities. However, the Football Hall of Fame inductions aren't being held in Pittsburgh.
Yes.
So I do find it a little bit odd, and it is my city, so I feel a little bit jilted every other year, and I'm glad at least they have it here.
It's disrespectful.
It's so weird. You have a Hall of Fame right here on the top of the lake, and yet the inductions and the party is being held in New York City. It's bizarre.
Besides you, it's the only reason to come to Cleveland.
That's right. I mean, what? Meathead, I was telling everybody at the top of the show that last year I attended the National Barbecue and Grilling Association's annual event, partially through your charge as we were promoting the Pitmaster Club, and I was doing 3 days of live shows, 3 hours at a clip, and doing a little promotion for you as well. You did not go.
Thank you.
So I was kind of standing in for you, but also taking advantage for things myself. However, 2019, a different year, a different city, and we find Meathead traveling to one of the barbecue meccas of Kansas City and attending the event. So was it just a matter of you having free time in the schedule? Did you feel like you wanted to give it a go in person one more time? What was the impetus for going back to the IM barbecue convention?
This year, they said that Rempe guy, he is too handsome, too charming, too suave. Why don't you send the ugly one? And so I went myself. No, last year I was humping away on a bunch of projects and books, and they were having it in the same location they had it the year before.
Yep.
And part of the fun of going to this conference is they move it around. And they have it in different barbecue cities. And this year is in Kansas City.
Yep.
And I hadn't been to Kansas City in maybe 7 or 8 years. And there have been a whole bunch of new places opened up. And so I carved out some room in my schedule, and I went this year. I went actually early. The conference starts officially on Thursday.
Yep.
There's an unofficial event on Wednesday, a bus tour of barbecue joints.
Right.
And I went in on Monday. So I had some time to hit a couple of barbecue joints. And it's always a lot of fun to go to this conference. But before we get too far into the conference, I think I heard you say about Jess Pryle's rub that it's Michelada, and that's a Texas beer.
Well,
Michelada
no. Now, hold on. Wait, let's make sure that I was reading this right from this bottle.
Okay.
And what it says is, inspired by Texas beer salt, this chili lime seasoning gives your meat a zesty kick. It's magic on chicken, but the tangy, mild heat works with pork and beef. And it's called meat, M-E-A-T, meat chelada, not michelada, which is that rimmed beer thingy ding.
All right. Well, I maybe there is such a thing as michelada. Maybe I'm not aware of it. I apologize. As I understand it, that sounded like a pun on Michelada.
Yes,
which is a beer with a salt rim, and it's got chili, Worcestershire, lime juice, sometimes tomato juice and other things. And it's not like a Texas beer salt that I'm aware of. But Jess, she lives down there. She knows Texas better than I do. I yield to her expertise.
I think you're right. It is a play on Michelada or Michelada, or however you say it in Spanish.
And she, too, is better looking than I am, by a long... And you.
Hey, you speak for yourself, pal. I'm pretty handsome. Never mind this receding hairline. So, well, okay. So I'm thinking of different follow-up questions that have nothing to do what we were going to be talking about. So you're in for NBBQA on a Monday. Do you do any type of business for the website while you're there?
Yeah. I swung by, excuse me, on Monday afternoon. I swung by Smithfield.
Okay.
They have their headquarters down there.
Yep.
And I was just kind of curious as to what their promotions are. They've been doing a lot of promotion with barbecue competitions. And I was puzzled by that because barbecue competition is a pretty small world. There's maybe 100 teams that compete more than 10, 20 times a year. There's maybe another 100 or so that compete 5, 10, 20 times. And it's all total, there's probably no more than 5,000 people that compete on a regular basis. And they're putting a lot of money in it. I was kind of curious what their marketing plans were for the future. And maybe we could dip our beak into it, get them to do a little advertising or sponsorship. And we have a project afoot, a new newsletter that we're contemplating. And I was wondering if maybe they might be interested in getting involved with that. So I just went there on a fact-finding mission. Didn't try to sell them on anything. It was kind of neat. I mean, they have a pretty big operation down there, and there's some neat people down there. And it was interesting to hear their commitment to competition barbecue. And then Tuesday, I hooked up with Artie Davis. Now, you know who Artie is. Boy, I don't got a little tickle in my throat here tonight, Greg. I hope I don't mangle your broadcast. I hooked up with Artie Davis. Anybody who has done competition should know who Artie is. He's known as Remus Powers. He's the guy with the little short white beard and the bowler hat and a necklace with pork bones on it and the apron. And if you judge at a competition, a major competition like the Jack Daniels, he's usually there to issue the oath to the judges. And he also writes a regular column in the Bull Sheet, which is the newspaper from Kansas City Barbecue Society, and also in Nation's Barbecue News. And he's just he was a founder of KCBS. He's just one of the great godfathers of barbecue in America. And so I met him, and we hit a number of barbecue joints together, and I had my first snoot sandwich with Artie.
Snoot sandwich. Where do you get that?
Snoot. Pig snout.
Yeah. Where do you get the snoot sandwich at?
A little place called the Tenderloin Grill.
Huh.
Owned by former Mexican-American, a little out-of-the-way joint. Artie is an aficionado of snoot sandwiches, of many things. And I had never had one, and I figured my career is incomplete until I taste the snoot of a hog.
So how was it?
It's surprising. I kind of expected it. The snoot got a lot of cartilage and connective tissue, and there's not much meat in there. And you kind of expect it to be kind of slimy or boogery or something, and or maybe it smells funny because that snoot goes in a lot of funny places. But he cooks it for 2 hours in a pressure cooker, and it comes out kind of gelatinous, but not slimy. And there was a little bit of jowl meat on the edges.
That's good.
And he loads it up with mustard, ketchup, and onions on a bun. And gosh, I should have sent you a picture.
Yes, of course you should have.
Is it too late if I ship one over to you in a minute?
Yes, it's too late
for you to get it up online.
I mean, you can ship it, but I mean, I don't know when we're going to get it up.
Okay. Well, it is the picture's kind of funny because the mustard and ketchup are drooling out of its nostril.
Oh, great.
But it was kind of fun, and then we we went to KCBS headquarters. Went to Q39, which is one of the hot new Kansas City barbecue joints that I had not been to. It's opened up since I was there last, and it's living up to its reputation. It was outstanding.
Well, you know who runs that place, right? You know who the founder is? Robert McGee from Munchin' Hogs at the Hilton, former KCBS Team of the Year.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. He was one of the top competition cooks for years until he decided to open that place, and then never seen on the competition circuit again. Killing it in the restaurant world.
Well, you can make a lot more money in the restaurant business than you can run at competing in barbecue competition.
For sure.
So the food was great. He does a burnt end sandwich, does a platter of burnt ends, has really good wings. The ribs are very good, very tender, very juicy. I tried a lot of stuff on the menu, and came out very impressed. It's a modern place. It's not, one of these divey barbecue joints where the chairs and tables wobble. It's in a modern brick building, very clean, and the food was just delightful. I was very impressed.
Did you go to Did you go to Slaps?
We went there.
Did you go to Slaps?
We also, yeah, go ahead.
Did you go to Slaps Barbecue?
Yes, we did. We went there on Wednesday.
Yes.
And that was some of the best barbecue I had on the trip.
For sure.
Slaps is a dive.
Yes.
Slaps is just the opposite of Q39. It looks like it's an old shed that somebody threw the lawnmower and the wheelbarrow out and put in a barbecue joint. And it's got a little patio with I think it's a metal roof or something. And we tasted. His rib bones were really good, really outstanding. He's got a warm potato salad that's got a little mustard in it.
Yep.
That was just brilliant. Excellent beans. Nothing extraordinary, just really good beans. And they have beer, which is nice. A lot of barbecue joints don't. And I was very impressed with that place. And he's a real nice man, Joe Pierce.
Yep.
And we've met over the years, and this is the first time we had a chance to chat. And we chatted again later at the conference. Also went to Joe's, formerly Oklahoma Joe's.
Yeah. Jeff Staney's
an
place.
Institution down there.
Yep.
It's in an old. It's in a filling station, a gas station.
Yep.
You can still get gas there. They have racks of rubs and sauces, not just their own. Very popular joint, very good food.
Yep.
I wasn't as impressed with the food that day, that moment, as I was with Slaps. But Monday is an average day, Tuesday is a great day, Wednesday's a bad day. You never know.
Right.
A good restaurant reviewer will visit a place on multiple occasions. I found that it was a little salty. But I still enjoyed it, and it was, a touch of history. I was hoping to meet Doug Wergel, who works there. By the way, anybody who's listening out there who enjoys reading fiction, I read a lot of novels. Doug Wergel wrote a book called Thin Blue Smoke, and it's a novel about a family in the barbecue business, and it's a really good story, not just because it's barbecue. I mean, it's not like, wow, this is a good story for barbecue. It was a good read, held my attention throughout, well written. The guy who knows how to use verbs and nouns, and it's a good story, a lot of fun. And unfortunately, Doug wasn't there. I was hoping to have him autograph my copy. But if anybody out there loves barbecue and does enjoy reading fiction, this is a really good read. Let's see. One of the highlights of the stops that I made on Tuesday with Artie is we went to a place called Old World Spices and Seasonings.
Yep.
They're what's known in the trade as a co-packer or a packer. If you're a barbecue restaurant or a competition team and you want to start selling your rub or your sauce, and if you've got a restaurant, you should sell your rub and your sauce because people who eat there tend to like it. They will help you make the transition from a 5-gallon stainless steel bucket in the kitchen to a bottle on a grocery store shelf, and make it taste similar or if not identical, and get you through the federal labeling laws and all that stuff. And I wanted to meet with the R&D guy because I wanted to learn more about spices. I wanted to learn more about where aromas come from, where flavors come from, how they dissolve in different fluids like alcohol, water, oil, and so on. And it was really interesting. They took me into the lab. They have 3 young women there who are all recent, not all recent, but all graduates of food science departments at Kansas State and elsewhere. And they're really into it. I mean, like, they do regular blind tastings. Okay, smell this sauce and tell me, or taste this sauce and tell me everything that's in it. And they can. Or close your eyes or blindfold, smell this spice and tell me what it is. And they can. So they're really good at that stuff. And they'll help you formulate your rub and seasonings. And that was a lot of fun visiting there. They had hundreds of jars of spices, flavorings. As the guy said to me, anything wet we can dehydrate. And so they had dried mushrooms, dried cheeses, exotic spices from all around the world. Really a sensory experience. And while we were there, they were formulating a rub for a client that was supposed to be on a hamburger. And so they were cooking the hamburger, and they had the first version of their formulation and the chef's version, and they were trying to see what the differences were. So we got to taste the hamburgers and taste the difference between the rubs. And I actually was pretty good at identifying what was missing and stuff. So it was just a lot of fun, really educational. We also hit one other barbecue joint. We went to Plowboys.
Yep.
Owned by Todd Johns.
Todd Johns, yeah.
Another very successful competition cook who opened up a barbecue restaurant. He's got 2 with a 3rd on the way. Doing a real nice job. And one of the interesting things he sells is a sauce for beans. So if you make your beans to go with your barbecue, and you start with dried beans instead of canned beans, this is a sauce you add to it. And it was pretty neat, fun to taste, and his food was good. He does a lot of tacos. He serves food at Arrowhead Stadium.
Yes.
So, and then the conference kicked off on Thursday and Friday, and Saturday they had an event for the public.
Trying to think of where we're at here time-wise. Well, let me get out early here, and then we'll have extra time to kind of dig into a little bit of the conference and what you thought some good takeaways were.
I thought, by the way, it wasn't in your promo for tonight, but we're coming up on Easter, and I thought we could take a few minutes and talk about ham.
Ham. Okay. Yeah, we'll do that here. So stand by, Meathead. We'll come right back to you. I will talk to everybody quickly about Early Bird CBD oil. That's right. It's not weed, so just relax. Talked to you about them a couple weeks ago. They're back this week. A lot of you have been asking me over the course of the last few weeks, do you use CBD? Yes, I do use CBD oil. I take it, as I talked about 2 weeks ago, sublingually. That means under the tongue. But Early Bird also has a great selection of ones that you can take in edible form, rubbing on topicals, powders, gummies. They also have capsules, wide selection of vapes if you're into vapes. So you pick the best way for you to get it delivered and shop confidently knowing that Early Bird has done all of the quality control work for you. You're not getting crap CBD, only top-of-the-line CBD from the best manufacturers in the business. They've called on the companies. They've met with the owners. They can confirm that this product is the best in the industry. If you have any questions, you can drop them an email through the website or give them a call at 512-920-5650. Ask them any questions. Rest assured, they'll make sure you get exactly what you want and need. For me, CBD has helped me through some pain relief in the knee, better digestion, if you can believe that, and a more restful sleep. And again, it's not weed, it's not THC, none of that in CBD, so don't worry about that. Or it's a very, very, very small percentage, like 0.03. If you've been looking for an alternative to the prescription drugs, you want to check it out. Here's the best part. earlybirdcbd.com offering fast, free shipping and 20% off your order. when you use coupon code BBQ Central at checkout. Once again, shop earlybirdcbd.com, and then as you check out, use discount code BBQ Central and save 20% off the entire order. And it's not just the first order, it's all orders. Did I mention the fast free shipping? CBD, earlybirdcbd.com. All right, more Meathead coming up. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rampey.
Hey, if you have a pellet-driven cooker, check out cookingpellets.com, your number one source for quality wood pellets for all your pellet-driven cookers. Not voiding any warranties or anything like that. You visit cookingpellets.com. That's COOKIN. Cookingpellets.com to purchase or to peruse what they have for you to buy. You can also buy on Amazon.com as well. Chris Becker and the gang over at Cooking Pellets, and we thank them for their continued support of the show. Meanwhile, we pick up our conversation with Meathead from AmazingRibs.com. Meathead, have you tried CBD?
No.
Are you familiar with it?
Yes.
Do you think it's snake oil?
I don't want to say anything.
Why not? You're allowed to have an opinion. You can have an opinion. Nobody cares.
Well, I'm kind of careful about what I'd like to hear what the FDA says about stuff that you put in your body like that, pharmaceuticals or stuff like that.
It's not.
The question I have for you is...
It's not a pharmaceutical, Meathead.
The question I have for you is...
Yes, go ahead.
Does it mellow you? Because I listened to your rant earlier about don't call in with sound on or I'll hang up on you and make fun of you for 30 minutes.
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
You need the stuff with THC in it, Greg.
Look,
when they come up with a formulation that mellows you, let me know.
Meathead, here's the problem. You do a show for 3 or 4 months and you have issues with people calling in. Maybe you shouldn't get ramped up. You do a show for 11 or 12 years, and you explain the process, and then for some reason it just never gets conveyed through to the caller.
Yeah,
how am I supposed to react?
Show, but it's that way with almost every radio show.
I mean, come on.
You call in, and there's a delay.
Be a professional caller. Don't call. Write me an email. I can probably read it better than you can say it anyway. Right?
Right.
Of course.
I don't know anything about non-prescription drugs, and one of these days maybe we can coax my wife onto the air, and she can comment on her actual hands-on experiences in analyzing these products.
Okay.
But I have no comments.
Oh man, I would love to get Mrs. Meathead on here.
She might be able to. She retired from her government research work, so she may be able to comment. Now, we'll see.
All right, we'll see.
But back to NBBQA. You want to go back there?
Yeah, so, typically for the folks that don't know, it's a few days of trade stuff. If you're in the business of barbecue or grilling, Thursday, Friday are more geared for you. Saturday is more the general public-facing event where you might see some of the bigger stars that you've seen on television or heard here on this show. And they're doing either a cooking demonstration or selling something, and you can get autographs and pictures and all that stuff. From the Thursday and Friday days, what were your biggest takeaways, positives, things that you learned?
Most of the attendees are restaurateurs, caterers, or competition cooks. And if you are in the business, if you have a restaurant or contemplating one, or you're a caterer, or everybody loves your barbecue and they say, you ought to cook barbecue at the Little League games, or you ought to do barbecue at my daughter's wedding. This conference would be a good place for you to go. There's a lot of people there who have done this, who know the way to do it properly, the pitfalls, the risks, the legal liabilities. Or if you have a sauce, everybody's like, oh, your sauce is so good, you ought to bottle it and sell it.
Yep.
There were several seminars on how to get your sauce from your kitchen to the grocery store shelves, the process, what you have to do, what it can cost you, the techniques. And there were there was a breakdown of a hog demo, which is always interesting to watch. Of course, you can see it on YouTube. Actually, the session I found most interesting is there was a company from Chicago whose job is they gather restaurant menus from all over the country, thousands of them, and break them down into words, put the words in a database, and study which words are most frequent and which words are occurring more this year than last year. Things like gochujang or chorizo or St. Louis cut, or, you know, these are words that, maybe you don't see very often. We never saw St. Louis cut on a barbecue restaurant menu until maybe 10 years ago. Now it's more frequent. Gochujang, in case your listeners don't know, is a Korean hot spice, which I think may be on a glide path. It's coming in, according to this research, on a few restaurant menus, and then they show the words that are on more menus that are on the upward swing, and here's where they're becoming ubiquitous, and the downward swing. This sauce is possibly where sriracha was 10 years ago. I really like the stuff. I keep some around. Really nice flavor, not too hot. Made with miso, so it's kind of meaty, umami flavor.
Yep.
So that's starting to show up on menus, and it was really interesting to see the trends that he was spotting coming up. But the main reason to go is much of the best stuff happens after hours in the bar. You cruise into the bar and you sit down next to somebody, and holy smokes, he lives not far from you, or holy smokes, he's doing the same thing you are, or holy smokes, he's got the same problem with embezzling from his secretary or whatever, and there's a lot of networking and meeting people. I mean, I don't have a restaurant. I don't compete. I'm not a caterer. I go for the networking.
And I would imagine, Meathead, that if you're in the bar, a lot of the ham and eggers want to cozy up to Meathead and talk to you a little bit and take a picture with you. I mean, from a celebrity standpoint in the industry, I mean, you're a fairly big name, whether you're going to admit it or not.
Yeah, I'm not used to being called that, but it's very gratifying. And this actually, subtly, now that you probe me, it may be one of the reasons I enjoy going, because sitting in the bar, a lot of people come up and say, Meathead, you're the reason I'm in barbecue.
Right.
Or you have changed the way I cook. Or I bought your book and I've learned so much. I'm so much better because of it now. Or I come home from work and the kids say, Mom, can Daddy cook tonight? Or I got laid last night because of you. And a lot of people wanted selfies with me. So that's a real ego trip, and that's fun. But it's really cool to meet these people and get feedback from them, what they like and dislike about the website and the book.
Did you attend those awards on Wednesday night or Thursday night or whatever they are?
Partially. They tend to run late, Greg, and I'm getting to be an old man, and the events start early in the morning, so I did not sit through them all. And I noticed that when you promoted tonight's visit, that you said I would comment on them. So I went to their website today to get a quick look at what was there, because I knew about some of them, and they haven't updated. They got some of them. They haven't got all of them. The website's a real mess, so I don't know what they've got. I do know Tuffy Stone won for the best book.
All right.
And that is well-deserved. There's a new website out of Australia that won an award for blogs.
All right, Meathead, hold on. I got a problem with that. I got a problem with you. I mean, you know who that is, right?
The guy out of Australia?
It's not a guy. You talking about Bush Cooking?
No. This is another guy from Australia. Yeah, I have the same problem. Bush Cooking won the best blog, and it is owned and operated by the executive director of the National Barbecue Association, and that is a serious conflict of interest.
2 years running, by the way, she's won that.
2 years in a row.
Yeah.
She should be disqualified, or what's the term?
Recused.
Recused. She should recuse herself. We didn't enter and haven't entered, but you know, it's odd that the boss. I mean, that happened 2 years ago at the International Association of Culinary Professionals, that one of the board of directors won a top award, and they immediately wrote a new rule. Absolutely not, forbidden. So, you know, yeah. And there was a couple of awards for photography given to somebody named Ash Hodgson. And I just have to wonder how many, if that's a relative of hers.
Well, I believe also, and totally not related to any of the conversation we're having, that my Texas Embedded correspondent might have won a second place prize for a photo. That would be Doug Scheiding, by the way. So we congratulate Doug.
I think he did.
Yeah. So let's talk let's talk
is Doug in there tonight? Hey, Doug,
yeah.
if you're listening, good to talk to you.
Doug is in the YouTube chat room, chatting it up with the rest of the Centralites here while we're chatting it up here, Meathead. So talk to me high level on NBBQA and where you see it. Again, you were freshly there, and I mean, you were a little down on, you know, where it's kind of subsisted over these last handful of decades. And look, let's be honest.
You wouldn't ask me this.
Let's be honest, Meathead. I did 3 days.
Yeah, I know. That's the problem. I
did 3. Meathead, hold on. Let me set this up for Christ's sake. Jeez.
Aren't we running out of time?
Because you won't let me talk and get through it. I mean, hold your horses for a goddamn minute. So I went last year. I did 3 days of 3-hour shows. Okay, so 9 hours. And I was fairly critical of what is NBBQA. Should it always be a trade show? Or is there a way to make it both trade and potentially get more visibility from the end user side or the backyarder side? And No Names Please might have been offended from my line of questioning, because I asked a lot of people that I brought on as guests. I mean, why not? I'm there. Nobody's bought and paid for me there. I'm allowed to have my own opinions. I'm not ragging on anybody, but I'm just trying to say, if you've been around for so long, should we only view it as a barbecue industry trade show, like a car show, like a truck show, and that's it, and that's fine, and however many members you get, that's what you have? Or can you expand it into something a little bit different, where you can invite a backyard warrior or a consumer in, and everybody can share in it over the course of those 3 or 4 days?
All right, here I'm going to start with the 30,000-foot view. A lot of not-for-profit organizations have a structural problem. The structural problem is that they hire somebody called the executive director or the executive secretary to run the organization and work on it substantially full-time. At KCBS, it's Carolyn Wells. Now Heath Hall is involved. And whether it's the Institute of Food Technologies or the medical associations, generally there is a individual or a team of people who are hired hands that run it. And then above them is a board of directors.
Right.
And the board of directors is usually made up of involved, interested members. And they're elected by the members. And their role is to guide the hired hands, to guide the executive directors. And the problem that a lot of these organizations have is that the board of directors parachute in from all different parts of the country, all different parts of the industry. So in our case, you got some competition cooks, you got a restaurant owner, you got a caterer, and they or some guy whose full-time job is a computer IT guy, and he's doing part-time catering or whatever. And they come in with a lot of ideas and notions, and for the organization to be successful, the executive director has to be really good, really smart, really strong, and has to be able to manage them as well as they manage him or her. The NBBQA had such an individual, a guy named Stewart, and Stewart ran a heck of a good conference. But he was very controversial. He was very difficult to deal with. A lot of the board disliked him. I had issues with him, and they fired him. They hired this Saffron Hodgson, who's a really smart woman.
Totally.
Really loves barbecue, really on her game, but she has never, ever done anything like this before. And she's never run a conference, never run a society. And I think she has a lot to learn. There were some serious issues, like they ran out of food at lunch.
Oh.
Excuse me? This is a food conference? There's a buffet line, and there's 30 of us here, and there's nothing to eat. Little stuff like that. There wasn't time between seminars. Usually you put 10 or 15 minutes between a seminar so you can go to the toilet, or you can call the office, or you can visit with somebody. There wasn't much time between seminars. They moved seminars around, so you go to a room for a seminar and it's not there, it's in another room. I mean, these are just things that a really experienced conference manager, executive director knows not to do. Mm-hmm. And so there were a bunch of those glitches, management glitches. This year, unfortunately, a lot of really important barbecue people did not come. I don't know why, but a lot of the people I look forward to seeing were not there, and it was unfortunate. Some of them had good excuses. Mike Mills had just gotten out of the hospital. Yeah. Linda Orison, outgoing president 2 years ago, a real mover and shaker. Her daughter had a baby.
Right.
There were just others who were, Barry Sorkin from Smoke Barbecue here in Chicago usually goes. Sweet Baby Ray, they weren't there this year. I don't know why. I haven't asked. I heard a bunch of people say that they probably won't come back next year. And that concerns me because I think it has potential to be a great group. But the problem is it's also a very small group. They only have 600 members. It's puzzling with perhaps 7,000 barbecue joints in America. Who knows how many caterers? They can only get 600 members. It's not expensive. The conferences, a lot of the sessions are worthwhile. I just don't know why they have never really taken off. And I don't know I don't think this year was the springboard. I think this year might have been a bit of a setback.
Well, I mean, to be fair, when I was there last year, I saw a lot more big names in Kansas City than I saw in Texas last year. And I heard a lot of the same sentiment. I heard a lot of people saying, hey, I'm not going to come back next year, or this isn't what I thought it was going to, or I spent all this money and this is what I'm getting. So I think that you're probably not seeing a dive down, but you're probably not seeing, as you had mentioned, a springboard. Is probably a lot of the same.
I'm going to be back next year, I hope, if time permits. They're going to be in Louisville next year. Louisville's a lot of fun. I've been there recently for a food conference. As I said, if you are in the restaurant business or contemplating being in the business or the catering business, there's a lot to learn. There's people you'll meet. There's a lot of networking. There's people who will help you up. I know of a couple of sauce people who said to a young woman who was just getting started in the business, give us a call when you get home and we'll talk you through this. That's really cool.
And it's in Louisville next year, huh?
Louisville.
All right. Well, assuming I think the volleyball schedule will be freed up quite a bit here next year. So, and I know how to drive to Louisville because I go there a whole bunch for volleyball over the course of the year.
So Saturday is the consumer event. And outdoors, they have this big, beautiful park right across from the Marriott where the hotel was. Mm-hmm. And they had a whole bunch of barbecue teams and others, Operation Barbecue Relief and others, cooking up barbecue and serving it, and it was open to the public for $40 a head.
$40 a head?
I mean, you can get real good.
Holy moly.
You can go to Q39 and not pay $40 for best barbecue in town.
Wow.
So there weren't many people there. And one or two of the members convinced them to lower the price. And there was a volleyball tournament in town.
Oh, yeah.
High school girls, you're like your daughter.
Yep.
And they were staying in the hotel. A lot of tall, leggy young women in gym shorts. And when they dropped the price to $10, they all piled in.
Oh, I bet.
And they were having a blast. They were just covered in barbecue sauce, and they were just having fun. And their coaches and their parents were in there with them. They still didn't have a very good turnout. They didn't make much money at it, but it was a great event. And it's just too bad they couldn't turn it into a profit item. But I know how much, and your listeners may know also, Greg's oldest daughter is a pretty serious volleyball competitor, and getting a scholarship, as I recall.
That's right.
To college.
That's right.
And this, I had no idea about this world, but it's a whole nother world. Like we're in barbecue,
right?
This high school amateur league volleyball tournament world where you, Greg, and your family travel on weekends to tournaments is massive.
Oh, yeah.
Massive.
Yeah, it's a whole industry in its own.
Yeah, they were all over the hotel. I mean, you had all these fat, craggy, bearded old men like me, and all these tall, beautiful, elegant, leggy teenage girls in shorts.
Hard to differentiate between the two, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Wow. Meathead can be found at his website, AmazingRibs.com 24/7. If you have questions, you can get at him there. You can join the Pitmasters Club, of course, and get some really great exclusive content for less than $24 or less than $25 a year. And you can find him right here on this very show, the second Tuesday of every month. Meathead, always appreciate the time.
Always good to be with you in the Centralites, and we'll see you next month. Same
right.
time, same station. Hey, wait, before we go real quick.
Yes, yeah. Go ahead.
I'm going to be judging a hamburger contest from 6 to 8 next month.
All right.
Prior to your show. I come on at 8:14. So we may do a remote from a hamburger taste-off.
All right. Well, we'll get the logistics figured out.
I'll touch base with you later.
All right.
So maybe next month's topic will be hamburgers.
All right. Sounds good. There he is, Meathead, everybody. And could he say leggy one more time? AmazingRibs.com, his website. I am going to try and squeeze this read in here real quick as we make the top of the hour. The Barbecue Guru, folks, they've always believed that outdoor cooking could be easy and fun, especially with the Monolith Barbecue Guru Edition grill. Monolith is the world's first temperature-controlled smoker with a built-in power draft fan. It is a ceramic cooker. That means smarter control and greater freedom with automatic temperature control. Easily choose your cooking time and temperature and let the Monolith do the work of a sous chef or a barbecue pit master. With minimal effort, you now have oven-like precision at the grill, and you can serve the tastiest, juiciest meals each and every time. BBQGuru.com or 800-288-GURU. We will wrap the first hour right after this. Stick around.
Big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
All right, thanks to Meathead from AmazingRibs.com for joining me. We didn't get to the ham talk, but that's all right. We didn't get to another topic that I thought we were going to hit, but that's all right. Good insider look at NBBQA. Again, Louisville next year in 2019. So, well, I probably won't get invited. I have some ways to potentially work some media options. I have some other options as far as staying because I know peeps in Louisville, thanks to the volleyball. So, we'll see how it works out. A lot of people already in this in chat saying, I want to be there. Short drive. Good. Let's do this. Again, Meathead, AmazingRibs.com. Look at the Pitmasters Club. It's fun. Second hour coming straight up. Stick around. Be right back.
Hi, this is Jeff Richards, Columbus, Ohio. You're listening to Barbecue Central. Happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
Boing. We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Hit me.
Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan.
Boing.
So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle.
Charbono! It's all about the charbono, dude!
Succulent fish! What?
He ate Cincy or wiener.
Oh, listen, Lavernius, shut your face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seed.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
And just like that, we are into the second hour. Welcome aboard. You have found the Barbecue Central Show. We do it live here Tuesdays from 9 to 11 from the barbecue capital of the North Coast, Cleveland, Ohio. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city, if you don't know that. Still to come on this show, Mark Hunsaker from Hunsaker Vortex Smokers. We are open after that, so if you want to jump in with a phone call or an email, you're more than welcome to do that. Best shot, 35 past the hour or so. Don't forget, you can follow me socially at BBQ Central Show on both Instagram and Twitter, /BBQ Central Show on Facebook. I think I'm pretty worth the follow. Pretty good value. I don't overpost. If anything, I might underpost compared to some of these other folks. But I don't overpost. And I do take advantage of the story. So if you're not familiar with Instagram, there is the feed where the pictures are and you can comment and all that stuff. But then up at the top, you have those little circles with the different people that you follow. That's the story, and I do post a lot of stuff on there. So every once in a while, I want to share in this or share in that, do a little story on it, but it doesn't populate into the feed and mess up that. It's a whole algorithm and a thing I don't want to get into. Coming up this Friday on the best moments of the Barbecue Central Show in 10 minutes or less, John Solberg has put together a show that journeys you back to 2014. Sterling Ball was in that show from Big Papa Smokers, and we talked a lot about competition barbecue tips. I'm sure a lot of that remains evergreen, even though it was about 5 years ago or so. Also, because he was just on in the first hour, Meathead was also in that show in 2014, and we talked a lot about chicken and poultry safety. I believe that might have been the first emergence of don't rinse your chicken. Remember that? We've had that discussion a number of times. Take it out of the pack or packaging or whatever it is and just pat it dry with some gloves and paper towels. Don't put it under the sink, rip open the faucet, and rinse it off to make it clean, because you're going to get splatter and spatter and all that. E. coli is racing around the countertops now. If you don't clean it properly, there could be an issue down the road. I believe that's where it initially popped its head up 5 years ago. So, again, Sterling Ball from Big Papa Smokers talking a lot about competition barbecue tips, and Meathead talking about chicken and poultry safety. That happened in 2014. You will find it on the best moments of the Barbecue Central Show in 10 minutes or less, populating in the feed. So if you are not subscribed to this show on podcast, not only do you get tomorrow, Wednesday, the first hour of this Tuesday show, and then Thursday, the second hour of this Tuesday show. Friday, an incredibly new episode that has nothing to do with Tuesday shows up in that feed, but you have to subscribe to the show. Easiest way to do that is open up your podcast platform if you're into that, and then just search the show, the BBQ Central Show. Or if you go to my website, thebbqcentralshow.com, there is a subscribe link up there, and you have a whole bunch of different ways that you can get shows when the new ones push out. In regards to the John Cupo show appearance as me guest, there will not be.
Get that big stuff out of here.
This is the first time that it's not me being the problem, but there just is not going to be a show this Friday. So if you are a regular tuner-inner of the John Cupo show where you like to hear me as the guest, that will not be happening this week, but I will keep you apprised of when that next one might be. Also, and, you know, this is not, well, not only is it not totally barbecue related, or not only is this not totally, it's just totally not barbecue related at all. And I have said on many occasions on this show, and if you know me in real life, I have never once professed, ever, to be what? Handy. Never. I've never passed myself off as a handyman. Words that have never come out. I can help you do that project. I can build that from scratch. I have the tools necessary to complete that job and or repair. All things that have never come out of my mouth. And being the age that I am at, don't think they will start to come out of my mouth. That being said, I do have a number of screwdrivers. I have a plumber's helper. I have this thing. I don't even know why that's on my production desk, but I was being handy with it at some point, and it never made its way back to the toolbox. I have those wrenches with the circle thing on one end and the wrenchy head on the other. Full set of those. I have some sockets that are in metric. I'd have no idea why I'd ever use those. Metric. And then a power drill that you plug in, because quickly I had found that power drills have way more power and torque than those battery-operated ones. Plus, if you don't charge the battery, it never work. So I have extension cords through the yin-yang, so I have plenty of distance that I would need to use my fully powered electric drill. Those things are badass. But that's pretty much where the expertise stops. It's pretty basic. Let me ask you this. When the hell did spare tires for vehicles become optional? Did I miss something? Was there a memo that went out to normal car dudes and gals that said, hey, because you're in the know, just wanted to give you the heads up that from now on, we're not going to be sticking an extra tire in the car? I didn't get that memo. Last week, I was trying to air up some tires before I made the volleyball trip to Louisville. This would have been on a Thursday. And as I'm working my way around the car and putting that thing, you know, air pumps nowadays are really great because you can set the air temperature, and once it reads it in the chuck, you can beep, 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 beep. You just take it off. You go to the next wheel. All you have to do is listen for the chirp. So I'm working my way around the vehicle. I get to the passenger rear tire, and it's a little bit of a tight angle, and I get the chuck onto the stem, and it airs up. I hear the beep, cheep, cheep, cheep. And I go to take the chuck off of the stem, but it kind of tweaks to the left. And then, snap! The tire stem, like where the threads are, snap! Uh-oh! And then, as soon as it snaps, so I look at my daughter, Bobby. I was like, Bobby, get in the car! It's a race to get home before this tire gets flat. So we jump in the car. I'm, a mile or so away from home. We get there, and that, the tire pressure monitoring system on the dash, you can see that back right is just starting to drop by the second. I'm like, no! Hopefully no trains. We get through, back into the driveway, put it in park, get a little bit jack. Well, that's a different part of the story. But we got to get down to Louisville. So I called my wife. I said, hey, we're taking the van. The stem broke on the Sportage. I'll fix it when I get home. Fast forward to Sunday. We get back. Teachable moment. Get the oldest and the middle girl out because now they can both drive. I'm going to teach you how to fix this flat tire. So I open up the hood. or the rear of the car, open up the back storage compartment where I would assume the wheel's going to be. As I yank up the subfloor, there appears to be space for it. There's a neat little package that says mobile air unit. And as I rip the styrofoam insert to think that the tire is going to be buried under there, it's not. What the hell? So I open up my Kia Forte. Oh, by the way, no jack. I'm totally clueless still at this point. Well, I get the jack out of my Forte, wheel that up, do the lug wrench, take the tire off, go back in and start looking again. Now I'm looking underneath the car. Now I'm looking like a fool. Kids are like, you can't find the spare. Where the hell did the spare go? Who the hell used the spare and didn't put it back? Nobody seems to know. Call my wife. I said, did you use the spare and not give it back? It's not here. No, the tire's never had any tire issues. We've never had a flat. Bobby's boyfriend calls her dad, who also has a Sportage, and said, hey, where's the spare for this flat or for the Sportage? And he said, yeah, there's no spare. Doesn't come with one. What? No freaking spare. Hello? As I had mentioned, in place of the spare was some piece of crap pump. A pump, by the way, isn't going to do you that much benefit. The spare, of course, you probably can't go highway speeds, or at least they say that. But you can go from A to B or to C or wherever the hell it is you need to get that tire fixed. You're not getting any real distance using a pump. So here's my plea to you. If you haven't ever looked, if evidently your sales guide never educated you when you bought it that there is no spare, it's a pump, do yourself a favor and look before you head out onto the road to see if you have a spare or not. I mean, can you imagine the rant that would be happening right now if I would have been on the side of the road on the highway and gone to pull the tire and had 0 tires available? That would have really pissed me off. But saving weight and fuel and price? Come on, man. Give me the donut. So now I got to go on Google or Craigslist or both and find a donut for this Sportage so I can be resting assured that the next time I snap a stem, I won't have to worry about, do I really have a spare or not? Because I don't right now. I have a pump. So before you hit the road next time, and if you don't know, like I didn't know, check so you know. No spare tires anymore. No spare tires. I can't believe it. All right, let's see. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. Okay. Now, hold on a damn minute. Okay, here we go. I'm still a little flabbergasted, by the way. John Dawson weighing in. They don't get flats in Korea. Good one, John. Big Papa Smokers, the one-stop online shop for all things barbecue. Their curated selection of only the best outdoor cooking and grilling supplies will get you on the path to better barbecue results in no time. Everything at BigPapaSmokers.com has been Pitmaster approved by Sterling Big Papa Ball himself. From the award-winning rubs and sauces to the American-made grills and smokers, Big Papa Smokers has everything you need to become a better outdoor cook. They have these great 13 championship award-winning rubs and seasonings. Flavors like Sweet Money, Cattle Pod, Cash Cow, Regular Money, Happy Ending, Desert Gold, Little Louis Season Salt, Double Secret Steak Rub. Dare I go on? Because I could. Whether you're cooking to impress judges or grilling for the family, Big Papa Smokers award-winning rubs and seasonings just don't disappoint. You can pick up a bottle today by visiting the website. They also have that great strategic partnership with Steph Franklin over at Simply Marvelous Barbecue. Those two together have been winning on the competition circuit now what seems like for generations. They also own Granny's barbecue sauce. Looking for a new go-to barbecue sauce that will please everyone? Granny's traditional yet powerful flavors remind us why we fell in love with barbecue in the first place. Find Granny's barbecue sauce and other top-rated sauces at BigPapaSmokers.com. And aside from their premium selection of rubs and sauces, Big Papa Smokers offers the very best pellet, charcoal, and wood cookers available on the market today. How about this? The Mac 2-Star General Pellet Grill. Big Papa's is the exclusive Mac dealer. They even offer special packages. If you're not a fan of pellet cookers, fine. Take a look at the Old Hickory Ace BP. It's the only charcoal smoker the Big Papa trusts on his competition barbecue trailer. If you're a backyard barbecue enthusiast like me looking for a durable and versatile grill that will last forever, the M Grill from Texas is just what you need. They're built like tanks. Not sure what kind of grill you need? You really can't go wrong with any of the grills over at BigPapaSmokers.com. They have something for every kind of cook and every kind of budget. It's clear that BigPapaSmokers.com, the place to go for all things barbecue. Every product featured on their website, hand-selected to help you barbecue better. Boost your barbecue skills with the help of Big Papa Smokers, their #1 online barbecue store. Call them toll-free with questions, 877-828-0727, or shop the website, BigPapaSmokers.com. That's BigPapaSmokers.com. Mark Hunsaker out of the break. Stick around. We'll be right back.
The only show giving you a monthly visit from a doctor of barbecue. A man actually named Meathead. The author of a barbecue Bible. Bloggers, reviewers, competitors, and manufacturers by the dozens. It's the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
Hey, Meathead just mentioned them in the first hour. He did I hope he called and made an appointment. Didn't just cold call it. But he visited the offices of Smithfield in Kansas City. Still a few spots left to be part of this year's Smoking with Smithfield Committee Cooks program, but don't delay. Go to smokingwithsmithfield.com to sign up for that. Are you ready to find out where you rank against all competitive barbecue teams across the country? Visit smokingwithsmithfield.com to check out your rank on the Smoking with Smithfield National Barbecue Championship Leaderboard. Again, that website is smokingwithsmithfield.com. That's smokingwithsmithfield.com. All right, barrel cookers are becoming increasingly popular. There are a good handful out there today, and we like to make sure that we are covering the field when it comes to this niche. My next guest has a cooker that we will be talking about, so let's go ahead and run to the hotline and welcome the creator of Hunsaker Cookers. That is indeed Mark Hunsaker. Mark, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing great. Greg, how are you tonight?
I am absolutely fabulous. Mark, appreciate you making time for the show this evening, and a number of different places here to run around as we talk about your cooker and yourself. So before we get into the cooker, how about a little background about you, maybe where you grew up, what you do professionally, and where you're currently residing in these great states?
Sure. Okay, we're in Columbia, Missouri, and a little background on me. I grew up on a farm in west central Illinois. Parents still farm over there. One of the things I like to do there on the farm was when the equipment got tore up, my job was to weld it or fabricate something. So I just had a kind of a love for the working with steel and fabricating whatever I needed to do. So fast forward, went to college, got my degree, and 35 years ago I started out as an insurance adjuster. I'm still doing that. But I, kind of got a little bored and decided, well, let's start building some smokers. I like to barbecue, like to work with metal, so it seemed like a perfect marriage. And here we are 6 years into making drum smokers, and things are going great.
Mark Hunsaker joining me here on the show. I don't want to diverge off the cooker talk, but I'm kind of always fascinated with farming, especially when you get out into the areas where you can see the fields and all that. How has farming evolved over the last, let's look at it from when you were a kid and where you see it today. Like, what is the life of a farmer these days?
Oh my gosh. Well, unfortunately, a lot of the farmers now are getting much older. It's really hard to get into farming. I mean, it used to be a lot of the farms would be transferred from one generation to another. for various reasons, some of these younger guys just aren't getting into it. But I don't know how some of these guys that would like to get into it can do so. They're going to have to go out and borrow a lot of money, or have a friend that's got a farm and willing to work with them. But it's kind of scary, because a lot of these farms are just basically, they're turning into corporate farms. It's like a lot of things, bigger and better, I guess, so to speak. But I still like, fond memories of growing up on the farm. Like I said, my parents still have the farm. My brother farms it, raises quite a few head of cattle, and it's a great place to live and grow up. I just the machinery, the technology has accelerated so fast. I mean, when I was growing up on the farm, we didn't have a cab on a tractor. It was all open air. Now all these tractors, they all have, obviously, most of them have cabs, and all the comforts of home. In fact, a lot of these guys can go out, pull into a field and hit a button on their computer and basically sit there and, basically they're there for the ride, because these things are programmed in with satellites. So it's amazing. Yeah.
Mark Hunsaker joining me here on the show. Mark, from a barbecue standpoint, is it something that you grew up around? Like, did you have a lot of live fire barbecue or grilling where you were growing up, or is it something that you got into from you developed a like of it on your own and then progressed into the business and the pit building side? Right.
Well, when I was growing up, I mean, we just assumed that having pork and beef was just a way of life for everybody. But obviously, that's not the case. I mean, if you got the cattle and the hogs on the farm, we butchered our own hogs, and we did everything along that line. But as far as grilling, we didn't do a lot of grilling. I didn't even know honestly didn't even know what a brisket was until probably 20 years ago. Because we ground it up for burger, so we didn't have a clue what that was. But our grilling basically consisted of like a lot of guys, the charcoal with the lighter fluid. We all have that. A lot of us have that imprinted in our sensory, our senses. So don't use that anymore, of course. But didn't do a lot of barbecuing at home. Even though most of it was stuck in the oven and broiled. So, but as far as the current situation, we enjoy doing a lot of barbecuing here. I do a lot of barbecuing just out of research too, to see how things are working with regard to our smokers and our grills.
So obviously the fabricating is self-explanatory, but when you start to get into making cookers, is there any particular reason why a barrel-style cooker stuck out to you versus something more traditional like an offset or something else?
Yeah. Well, I started building these smokers about 20 years ago, and they were insulated, the gravity feed, the rotisseries, the big heavy ones. And then about 6 years or so ago, I was at a local barbecue contest here, and it's in February. It was like a foot of snow on the ground. They were using plows to get the snow out of the way for the competitors. But I noticed there was a team that had these drums, and that kind of piqued my interest, thinking, well, it sure would be a lot easier to make a smoker with a drum than it would be me fabricating things from scratch. And got to looking at it a little bit more, and I thought, well, I can start making those things. So about 6 years ago, started making them, and the first few were pretty rough, and we've constantly made some changes here and there, and here we are 6 years later, and we feel like we've got a really good product going now.
All right, so let's talk about the Hunsaker cookers and why you think these might stand out compared to some of the other models that are out there.
Well, a lot of things that we do with ours are done with a reason in mind. We want to make it easier for our customers to have a more enjoyable experience. And we want to class them up a little bit. We're using stainless steel parts on our smokers now. That's just something that I don't think any of those the other guys are doing. We use high temp ceramic paints, and then we follow up with a high temp clear coat made by a company called Cerakote. Really good quality of paint there. And we've just designed things here to even out the heat. We have the Vortex charcoal basket, which is one of our patented items in the smoker, and that was designed due to our discovering that having the conventional air coming in one or two places on the side of the drum caused significant hot spots in the charcoal. So we developed the Vortex basket, and that basically evens out the airflow through that charcoal basket and makes it basically a convection type smoker. So, and we've got some other features, the floating hinge, that works really well. That's also a patented thing that we come up with. And we've got a few other things in the works as far as that goes. So.
Mark Hunsaker joining me here on the show. Mark, if you could, I guess, try and are you able to paint a little bit of a picture of this Vortex thing that you're talking about? Because, it's when I first saw it, this is going to seem really bizarre, but I remember seeing I think it was my grandma had a candle, and you would burn it, and then above it, it had these like little fan blade things, and the heat from the candle would start making the thing spin around. I assume that's a similar concept.
Yeah, it's similar there. You've got heat that's rising, and it's hitting that basically like a fan blade looking thing, and it's causing that air to mix up. So we're basically making that air do what we want it to. So it's coming in at the bottom of the drum. We don't have any pipes on the sides or any intakes on the sides. It's at the bottom center of the drum, and we did that for a reason, to force the air to come in around and through the Vortex charcoal basket 360 degrees instead of just one or 2 points, all geared toward trying to make things so it would evenly give you a much more even cook. But yeah, I remember those things you're talking about with the candle and the little fan things. Those are kind of cool. We saw them a lot of times in those fake fireplaces too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So this is a patented item.
It is. Yeah, it's a patented design. We've actually just recently made a change in the design. We purchased a CNC plasma table. It's a computerized table that's designed to cut things based on a computer program. Mm-hmm. And so we've taken liberties with that, and we have actually developed a new charcoal basket that's even heavier and a little larger than what we had before. And we designed that to help our customers get a little bit more time out of these things, but also make it easier for us to ship things. Because the old design, we had issues with occasionally we'd have issues with the shipping companies smashing them. So we designed it so that takes that pretty much out of the equation. So they're like 14 gauge. I think other guys are building them out of 16 gauge, but we went with 14 gauge. It's a little bit heavier, but we feel like it's going to last longer for our customers. So,
Mark Hunsaker joining me here on the show talking about the Hunsaker Vortex Cooker. HunsakerSmokers.com is the website if you want to check it out here while we're chatting it up. Let's talk about cooking time and when you're firing it up. And we'll get into let's start there, I guess. If you buy a Hunsaker cooker, it comes to your house. Obviously, you could probably go to the website, watch some tutorial videos and all that stuff as far as getting it lit and so forth. But what do you recommend, or how do you recommend lighting it up to get that first cook going?
Okay. Well, basically, you either have lump charcoal or briquettes. Either one's fine, but I find that a lot of guys are using lump charcoal. It gives you a little cleaner burn. You don't have quite as much white smoke. There's no binders to speak of in the lump charcoal. So a lot of guys are using that. So basically what we suggest, and it's only a suggestion, is to fill it up about 3/4 full, light it. There's lots of different ways to light it. You can light it from below off the ash plate. You can fill it up halfway and stick a little Weber cube in there and light that. Some guys start out with a chimney full of hot charcoal, and they'll dump that on top of their the charcoal that's in the Vortex basket. But like I say, there's lots of different ways to do it. There's really no wrong way to do it. I always tell guys the wrong way to do it is not to do it at all. So some guys even use the big blow torches, that you can hook up. They like those because those are kind of neat. They're kind of fun to run. So,
is there a seasoning process? So if I buy it from you, Mark, and it shows up, is there a a first initial burn-in that I have to do, or do I want to coat it in like peanut oil or spray it down on the inside with PAM and then put a hot fire in it for a few hours, anything like that?
Yeah. Each of our smokers comes with an instruction sheet as far as how to recommend folks season their smoker. But basically, what we recommend is guys just go and pick up a can of cooking spray and spray the inside of the drum, the bottom of the lid, anything that's metal, the vortex basket, the heavy-duty charcoal grates, anything that's carbon steel. We always think it's a good idea to spray that down with some like PAM or whatever cooking spray and season that. And that's a great time to learn how your smoker breathes at that point. But you might only put, say, not even half a load of charcoal in at that time, because you're just kind of learning how it runs. But after about 2 or 3 hours of burn off that cooking oil, hey, this thing comes ready to cook on. All you got to do is season it. It's fully assembled. You don't have to put any wheels on it. It's ready to go.
How much meat capacity can you put in it? And I guess the better question up front is, do you have one size of cooker available, or do you have bigger and or smaller ones?
Yeah. Well, primarily, most of our business now has been geared toward the 55-gallon drum. And as far as capacity goes, well, that's a loaded question, because you can kind of depends on how, what you're cooking and how you want to do it. One of the things that we try to focus on as far as, our designs is the fact that this is a vertical cooker, and it stands to reason that if you can hang it, you can cook it. I love hanging meat, whatever it is. If a hook can go through it and it'll stay there, that's a great way to do it. But you'd ask about other kinds of smokers as far as the size go. We are also producing 85-gallon drums. They're quite a bit bigger.
Wow.
But we've seen a significant increase in the demand for those. So we just try to listen to our customers, and we're going to start making more of those now.
When you have something that's 85 gallons versus the 55, do you find just an inherent bigger consumption in fuel, or are they still about as efficient?
It's crazy. You'd think it would consume quite a bit more charcoal, but it really doesn't. In fact, what we've noticed is with the 85-gallon, it actually seems to breathe better than the 55-gallon. I don't really know why, but it does seem to do that. Now, I will say the 85-gallon drum smoker is not on our website yet. We haven't got that far yet. But we do make them, but we just haven't got to the point where we put it on our website yet.
What's the price point on a 55-gallon?
Shipped to the customer's door at most locations is $799. Now, like I say, that includes shipping. It'll come in a box on a pallet. Normally shipping pretty much anywhere in the country will take up to, depending on what part of the country you're in, you might be looking at about 4 days max. It seems like that's kind of the standard as far as the maximum. That's going to be like the Northwest or or maybe the West Coast, maybe East Coast. But they get it out. They get out there pretty quick. So.
Are there any standard items that come along with this aside from the cooking grade? Do you get hooks or anything like that?
Okay. Yeah. Of course, you get the drum and all the stainless steel parts on the exterior. Comes standard. Our vortex basket with the built-in heat, if you want to call it a heat deflector, that's standard. You don't have to pay any extra for that. It comes with a 5-level cooking grate system with heavy-duty expanded metal charcoal or food grates. That it's kind of interesting the way these things work. Some of the guys are making drum smokers with these bolts, that stick in, or these little rods. We decided to change that quite a bit and make it so you can move your cooking grate up and down without having to try to maneuver around those. So it's based on a 3-pin system that locks into those vertical cook support apparatuses.
Is there an ongoing maintenance that you need to perform with these? You want to power wash them out every so often, or things that you don't want to do while you're using them?
Well, there's a lot of guys out there, and it kind of varies depending on who you talk to. Personally, I'm not a big fan of power washing a steel drum, because you could encourage, rust or something like that. But, as far as I'm concerned, scraping it, trying to keep the grease and the gunk out of it is important. With our smokers, it's got the hole in the bottom of it for the air intake at the center bottom of the drum, so it's really easy to put a pan under there and just kind of scoop or remove the grease and whatever ashes, if any spill out. You can move that to that center hole and get rid of that real easy, so you don't have to fill it up full of chemicals. I'm not a big fan of chemicals either, really. But scraping, to me, that's sufficient. So now I will mention also, Greg, we've also come out, and it's on our website, a new product that we're really happy with or proud of is a stainless steel 55-gallon drum. That is a super sharp drum, and you never have to worry about paint issues, ever.
I noticed also, aside from the name brand products, that you have quite a few products that are directed towards the Weber Smoky Mountain. So did you see that a lot of people like that and said, hey, well, making this kind of a charcoal basket for the Hunsaker brand, I could make something that would accommodate a Weber Smoky Mountain and sell into that accessory market?
Sure. Yeah, we realized a couple of years ago that there's a huge number of Weber Smoky Mountain guys out there. Weber's got a really nice smoker. It's very popular. A lot of guys have them. So we decided that, well, why not come up with some products that would make their experience a little better. So our Vortex charcoal basket, the one we just designed, does fit in the 18.5 and the 22.5 WSMs. We also have a circular hanging rack that's stainless steel that comes with 6 hooks that fits in both the 18 and the 22. Let's see. But that's a couple things that we've done for the WSMs. One other thing too, I forgot to mention, Greg. We also have basically it's a vortex plate that sits on top of the charcoal ring for the Weber. So that works out well too.
Do you sell a lot of Weber Smoky Mountain accessories through your website then?
Yeah, we do actually. We sell quite a few of those things, especially the vortex basket. And the hanging rack system. A lot of guys are really getting into hot and fast on the Weber side of things. A couple years ago, when I first started trying to talk to these guys a little bit about hot and fast, that was an uphill battle.
Yeah.
A lot of guys were still into low and slow, and there's nothing wrong with low and slow if you got plenty of time to do it. But hot and fast is great. It just takes a little more prep on the front end. You definitely want to trim all that fat off because you don't want that to catch fire. Another neat product, Greg, we just put on the website tonight on Hunsaker Smokers is our hybrid food grate. It's really neat. It's got a pull-out bar that you use to hang the meat with, whether you do ribs or chickens or whatever, and it's got a flip-over door. So you flip the door over, you put the rod in, and then when you're done cooking, when you're done hanging, you can flip the door back closed, and now you got a full-size stainless steel grate now to work with. So, like I said, we just put that on the website tonight.
Are you sponsoring any teams, or do you know any competition teams that use the Hunsaker Smoker?
Oh, yeah. I'd hate to think how many Hunsaker Smoker teams are out there. There's several hundred, I'm sure.
Really?
But it's sponsorship. I don't know. We do kind of help some guys out that have a good social media presence. We try to help them out a little bit if we can. We're just not in a position to actually fully sponsor any of these guys, but we do try to help them out, though.
Do you foresee the smoker business like turning into anything more than it is currently?
Sure. There's really no end to this. It's just a matter of coming up with new things for the cook and making more products. We're working on new things all the time. We've got some things that are in development at this point that a lot of guys haven't even seen yet. So,
would you like to do Hunsaker full time and get out of the insurance adjusting, or is that not a goal?
Oh, it is a goal, believe me.
Right.
Yeah, I've been doing this insurance adjusting for 35 years, and that's one of my goals is to get to the point where I can do that full time. Now, my son Ryan does this full time, and he's instrumental in making this work for us. If I didn't have him helping us out, I'd be in big trouble. Now, growth-wise, we've been doing the drum smokers for about 6 years, and consistently we've doubled our business every year. So.
We're talking with Mark Hunsaker, the founder of Hunsaker Smokers, and you can find them at hunsakersmokers.com. We'll have a link, obviously, in the post-show notes as well. So if you are in the market for barrel-style cookers, here's one that if you're not familiar with, you're going to want to check out. Make sure you give consideration to. Mark, really appreciate the time tonight. Thanks so much.
Well, thank you, Greg. Appreciate it.
You got it. There he is. Mark Hunsaker from Hunsaker Smokers. As I said, I mean, they are really, 6 years in now. I like to think I have my finger on the pulse, but obviously I missed the pulse of that a little bit. 6 years now. And doubling in size every year, so that's good growth. Not crazy growth. But I think probably in his position, you probably don't want crazy growth. A little more controlled. According to David Platt, Amazing Ribs gave a Hunsaker the gold grade, or the gold award. So congratulations. I'll talk to you quickly about Southside Market and Barbecue before we go to the open segment. Attention, folks, in the business of barbecue. First, let me tell you quickly about Southside Market. Established in 1882, Southside Market and Barbecue, the oldest barbecue joint in Texas. They've been owned and operated by the same family for 3 generations. They offer premium Central Texas barbecue products, slow smoked over real wood. Shipping, distributing, manufacturing sausage for companies across the U.S. From food trucks to multi-chain restaurants, Southside Sausage can be on your menu too. All meats are processed in the on-site USDA-inspected facility, a trusted partner with a focus on quality and authenticity. Wholesale options available, shipping nationwide via FedEx, food service distribution via Cisco, U.S. Foods, and Martin Foods. Co-packaging capable from research and development to package completion. They can also follow your recipes or help you develop something new. Private label opportunities also available. Visit SouthsideMarket.com for more information or to purchase all of your goodies. Have you tried their hot guts, their jalapeno cheddar sausage, their sausage slammers, all their other sausages, the ribs, the briskets? Come on, let's give it a try. Save 10% when you use code BBQ Central at Tex House. That's right, at Tex House. Checkout. Go to SouthsideMarket.com, load your card up, then at checkout, you can save 10% when you use code BBQ Central. It's Nick and the gang over at Southside. Appreciate their support as well. Did Nick go to NBBQA this year? Anybody see Nick? All right, we are an open segment now. 216-220-0966. That's right, 216-220-0966. Or you can email the show in lieu of a call, Greg at the BBQ. What? TheBBQCentralShow.com. And we'll be back right after this. Stick around.
Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by Fireboard. Monitor up to 6 different temperatures simultaneously. Connect to Wi-Fi for cloud-based monitoring, or connect via Bluetooth. If you have Alexa or the Google Assistant in your home, you're in luck because Fireboard is fully integrated with both. Find out more by visiting fireboard.com or call 816-945-2232. The good folks at Fireboard, Ted Conrad and the gang. I bet Ted was at NBBQA as well. All right, 216-220-0966. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com if you want to jump in. Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Greg. Eric Babb here from TBQ. How are you?
Hey, whoa, sorry. Hey, Eric. How are you, buddy? BBQ?
I am doing well. I thought I'd call in because I attended both the NBBQA and I'm also a team that uses the Hunsaker Smokers.
Are you?
I am. And we actually won first place for our spicy tomato barbecue sauce this year.
Did you? Look at you.
We did.
Spice him in the bowl.
Last year came in second for the original, so we are 2 in a row for getting calls at NBBQA.
Yeah, congratulations. So, so what's the process for that? They select it down, or they break down categories, and then you just submit your sauce that fits into the best category available?
They do. They've got a tomato mild, spicy. They do the mustard, white sauce as well, and a fruit base.
All right, so first place this year, do you have a website or something that people can go to try and get their hands on these first place sauces?
We sure do. It is www.pittyq.com, and that's Pittyque.
P-I-P-P or P-I-T as in tango?
Pitty, as in pity, as in pitbull.
Got it.
We donate 10% back to animal rescue of all of our sales, so it's a growing phenomenon here in the Chicagoland area.
Yeah,
a lot of teams using our sauce.
How do you like the Hunsaker Smoker? What do you like best about it?
I love getting sleep. As Mark mentioned, the low and slow guys, nothing wrong with that. They light their fires at, 2, 3 in the morning. I don't have to wake up till 5, and I get my cook done. Everything is on time.
What are you running at temperature-wise? Do you know?
For my ribs, I'm running around 260, 265. Everything else around 275 to 285.
All right, so you're not running into like hot and fast 375, 450 range.
No, with the drums, with the heat, it is like a convection oven. So actually, my briskets take about 4 hours. Pork butts around the same, and ribs are done in 3.
4 hours, and it's a whole packer at 275.
It's a full packer. It is separated, point and flat, and I believe about 1/8 of an inch of the fat on the bottom of the flat.
Interesting. Are you a wrapper guy too?
No, I do wrap. I do in foil. Add a lot of liquids, a lot of different mixtures in there, and so far, last couple comps of the following previous year, we've finished in some top 10 briskets, top 10 porks. We actually won first place at the last comp of the year for ribs. So everything's clicking.
Nice. All right. Well, where are you competing at next?
First comp of the year for the Chicago area will be at Dwight, Illinois, at the Route 66 Smokeout.
All right.
And that's May 4th.
All right. Sounds good. Well, I appreciate you calling in.
Hey, thanks, Greg.
You got it. First place spicy red sauce. Like it. It was TT, Tango, Pity. Like pit bull, I would imagine. John Dawson got your email, and I tell you, of course. Let's see here. This has trouble written all over it, but I like trouble. Why not? Go ahead. You're on the air.
Yeah, it's Imperial Garden Chinese restaurant. Your food is ready.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, you ordered the 3 chow mein, the 2 wonton soup, and the 4 egg roll, right?
I did. Thank you. I did not. I thought I did, but I didn't. That's all right. Hey, special because I was telling you my story of the tire incident of 2019, or the lack of tire. Special thanks to Noah and Amber Glanville and their sons, Easton and Max, for hosting Bobby and I this past weekend while we did attend the World Challenge volleyball tournament at the Louisville Exposition Center. And I'm not sure how many of you do the traveling sport thing. Some of you probably think that we're just a bunch of crazy kooks traveling, east of the Mississippi, 8, 10, 12 hours out of our home base. To a certain degree, we probably are crazy, and we could get into a sports club segment down the road if that is something that would interest any of you. However, that's nothing to do with the fact that the Glanvilles are incredibly gracious hosts, wonderful entertainers, and when you strip everything away, at the very core, just really great people, and that is very much appreciated, at least by myself and my daughter, because we were the two there. And it makes a huge difference when you can go back to a home and hang with folks instead of just being holed up in a hotel room after you're done playing volleyball for the day. And depending on what portion of the day it is, there aren't a lot of other options to go and do. Sometimes there's a team dinner that you're mandated to go see. Sometimes you're in a city that just isn't great and there's not a lot of touristy stuff to do. I am a fan of Louisville in the city sense. Some decent places to eat there if you're into that. You can see how they build Louisville Slugger kind of stuff. Churchill Downs is right there. So, a few things that kind of trip my trigger, but it's really nice to be able to go back to a home and be able to decompress, get the proper rest so you can line it up and then do it again the following day. Now, from a play perspective, the girls were horrible this week. The last two tournaments, I'm scratching my head at how the hell these girls qualified for nationals that'll take place in Dallas, Texas in 2.5 weeks' time. But they did. I can't deny the fact that they did. So we'll have to see how it goes. Also, huge thank you going out to Anella Kelso and the gang over at Snake River Farms for sending out their dry-aged tasting pack, which included a New York strip, a porterhouse, and a ribeye. All were huge. We ate those for dinner this past Friday night. All steaks are aged to 45 days. So as we break down my dry-aged palate, the funk is just starting to bud or build in at 45 days. I'm a firm wanter to tryer of a 70 to 90 day. I think that's going to be my next venture. LaFrida is like, he had 70-day dry-aged steaks, and then I texted with him earlier. I said, hey, you had 70. I don't see 70. Are they coming back? He's like, yeah, we're catching up because I think dry aging is just huge right now. So a guy that's literally doubled his dry age production isn't able to keep up with demand, but they are slowly chasing and getting back to normal or to the levels that they feel comfortable where they can offer those 70 days. So I think that's where I want to see if it gets too funky. Is it funky enough like the DOC? But no surprise that they were prepared on a pit barrel cooker, of course. And while I have used the pit barrel cooker for traditional barbecue stuff, and I also do chicken wings and chicken thighs on there quite a bit, grilling on the pit barrel might be more in my wheelhouse than I actually originally anticipated. So I will be doing that more this spring and summer to kind of hone in on those grilling skills when it comes to the pit barrel. Now, I know my neighbor Desmond, who might singularly be the biggest fan of the pit barrel cooker ever, he kind of keeps it on his portion of the property line in the compound. So I'm going to have to jerk control of that back over. And, of course, Noah runs some custom-made grill grates in his pit barrel cooker. And I don't know if I want to bother doing that. It's not a mandate. Or maybe I could rip some old grill grates out of my Icon grill and cut them to fit, I guess. I couldn't do that because I'm not handy, but I'm sure some of my friends have saws that would cut aluminum or something. I could stick them in the pit barrel there and do some steaks and all that. But, man, these were absolutely spectacular steaks, again, at 45 days. Available for sale on SnakeRiverFarms.com. If you go to the dry age section, I think it said, beef tasting pack or something like that. But it's got the porterhouse, the strip steak, and the ribeye. They're all very big. They all had a nice funkiness to it, but it's not overly funky, if I can say it like that. Not too much funk. All right, let's go ahead back to the hotline. Caller, you're on the air.
Greg, what's up? It's Hootie from Lucas Barbecue. How you doing?
What's up, Hootie?
Hey, we missed you out in KC this week.
Nobody missed me. Let's be honest.
Oh, let's be honest. We missed you, but that barbecue, that volleyball life is real. That hotel was packed to the gills with volleyball pants, and I did not think that was a real thing.
Oh, it's a real thing. You think I'm just trying to get out of stuff, but that's a whole different subculture that unless you're steeped into it, you have no idea what's happening.
Well, you were off the hook this year, but I hope to see you next year in Louisville.
Yeah, I think we're going to be doing. So what did you think the best NBBQA moment was for you?
All right, Greg. Well, my best NBBQA moment was actually on Tuesday. I stopped in the KCD offices right as soon as I got in town, so I'm going to check out those digs. Walk next door to Boulevard Brewing to see Nonetheless, but Artie Davis and Meathead having a beer.
Really?
So, so I joined up with those two, and I went to Tenderloin Grill with them and actually had some pig snout.
Look at you.
So,
by the way, I did get that email that you sent me. I just haven't been able to flash them. I'll probably flash them up next week. But what did you think of a pig snout sandwich?
That's something we do not have up our way, Greg. But it was delicious. Like Meathead said, they cooked it in a pressure cooker for about 2 hours and actually allowed it to steep in those juices for another 20 minutes afterwards. So it's really tender and really broken down. And it was a mustard and hot sauce that they actually put on it. And it was a delicious sandwich. Can't say I'm not going to eat one every day, but it was cool to experience that with Meathead and Artie Davis for sure. Then after that, me and Meathead got dropped off by Artie over at Jack Stacks. Had a whole full tour back to the kitchen, learned how the process they make their lamb ribs, which was really cool. So, that to me, that's my best day. But, it's all for me, NBBQA, the seminars and all the sessions are great. But like Meathead said, it's about the networking, about being at the bar afterwards, all the characters you get to talk to. But there were some great seminars.
Who was the biggest star there that you saw, in your estimation? Who was the biggest star?
Myron Mixon, probably from the Meet the Masters panels. I mean, Myron usually takes the cake as far as barbecue stars, as we all know. So yeah, Mr. Joyful was there, giving a good old good talk upstage. Though it was him, Stretch from Grinders, that guy Charlie from Chicago Culinary Kitchen, and good old Junior Urias. And Michael McDearman was up there emceeing, and he's a great MC.
You like him? You think he does a good job?
I think Michael McDearman does a good job. He has good command of the English language.
Well, that's key to be an MC. If you don't talk very well, you're a crappy host.
I mean, hey, we still got to get you in the Barbecue Hall of Fame, Greg, but we're working on it.
Yeah, we'll see about that. Hootie, tell everybody where you're selling barbecue. This Hootie's in Pittsburgh, by the way.
All right, we are in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Our prime thing is catering, and we're also a barbecue food truck. Every Friday night, you can find us at Brew Gentleman in Braddock, and also Roundabout Brewery in Lawrenceville on Saturdays.
All right, Hootie, appreciate you calling in this evening. There he is. It's Hootie, everybody. If you're in the Pittsburgh area and you like Pittsburgh coming out of a truck, or you want your event catered, get in touch with Hootie. Hootie's Barbecue in Pittsburgh. You can find him. He's on the Facebooks, too. All right, I am well late, but that's all right. Do I have anything? Yeah, Green Mountain Grills. Let me talk to you about some of the best pellet cookers out there on the market today. Green Mountain Grills, introducing their Prime line a couple months ago. You can look into the pellet hopper now. You can look into the cooking chamber now, both on the Jim Bowie and the Daniel Boone models. Both also accept that pizza oven insert, which you know I love, and I'm going to be getting some use out of that probably starting Friday this coming, possibly into a second day on Saturday. Also, might be grilling steaks in there on Saturday. Why not? I'm going to go get my membership at Costco because that's someplace I've never been before that Noah Glanville introduced me to, and the prime selection of beef in there blew my mind. So I'm going to be heading there. I'm going to let my BJ's membership lapse. That's right, I'm going to let my BJ's membership lapse and go get a Costco membership so I can take advantage of that succulent beef and pork and all that. And lamb. They have lamb there. That's where I like my lamb. GreenMountainGrills.com. If you want the portable one, the Davy Crockett, 12-volt technology on all of these. They have pellets, they have rubs, they have sauces. Come on. You know I got two in my backyard right now. I absolutely love them. GreenMountainGrills.com. That's GreenMountainGrills.com. We're back to wrap the show right after this. Stick around. Be right back.
Whole packers, full racks, legs and thighs, injecting butts. If you've never heard this before, you might think you found the best XXX show ever. Let's get back to the most homoerotic host out there today, Greg Rempe.
All right, we are back, and we are racing to get out on time all the way back in the first hour. Meathead from AmazingRibs.com joined me. Big NBBQA recap. We talked about some other things as well. Didn't talk about ham, but sorry about that. Easter's coming. Also, in the second hour, we talked with Mark Hunsaker from HunsakerSmokers.com. Check him out if you're in the market for a barrel-style cooker, or at least something else to look at besides the pit barrel and the gateway, if you're so inclined. And we ended it with the open segment. Hootie called in. Pitty BBQ called in. Somebody confirming a Chinese order called in, but that was a bad call. Big show planned next week already, September 11th, 2001. I will never forget until next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Good night now.